Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel and the Rockies franchise here on MLB The Show 25. We have arrived at the MLB draft amidst a massive losing streak. Draft is here. We can finally get the draft started. I have been waiting quite a while for this. All right, so I've taken care of the pinned players that I want to look towards trying to draft. I'm gonna try my best to draft based on need and best player available, probably and most likely best player available. I don't want to jump the gun and select players that are reaches. I want to try and be smart with this year's draft. We had an okay draft in year one. Last year was a lot better, and for year three I want this one to be even better. So without further ado, let's begin. The Washington Nationals are on the clock. They will be selecting first, and with their first pick, they select Bill Burgess? You picked him? I guess the Nats won't be good in the game either. Not even a potential above 90, or at 90, an 88 potential. Well, with the second selection in this year's draft, the Miami Marlins select Aldo Vila, the second ranked prospect in all of Major League Baseball. With the third selection in this draft, I was going to call them the Oakland Athletics again. The Athletics select Hugh Handy, another starting pitcher. Ranked 7th in MLB, ranked 3rd by our scouts. So those are already two players that I was looking to snag off the board. Blue Jays selected Sean Rodriguez. This is a massive reach, bro. What the hell am I looking at here? The Giants select Juan Santos, a second baseman from Oregon. And once again, the White Sox might have landed the best player in the draft in Jung-Woo Hu. Good on them. They've lucked into a generational Japanese pitcher, and they've lucked into a potential generational first baseman from China. So with that out the way, we have a variety of different options to go to, which will most likely be pitcher. However, there is this guy, Lamar Hager. Hager looks like he'll be a very solid player in the future with 93 potential. However, we didn't do as much scouting with him as we did for some of these other pitchers, like Johnny Abreu, for example. However, our scouts rank him 6th, MLB ranks him 51st. It would be a huge reach to get him, and I've already stated I don't want to reach on players even if they're a position of need. Derek Strawberry might make the most sense to select here, and then there's Rick Howell with a similar idea. Two really good pitchers that would be logical selections at this point in the draft, and it wouldn't be too bad of a decision, especially for Rick Howell, who is 18. We take him now, give him about 3 years in the minors, eventually call him up. He could be an elite pitcher for our team. In fact, he might just be that. A similar concept for Lamar Hager as well. We could draft him now, give him about 3 years in the minors, especially while we still have Nicky Lopez producing at second base. And then we had Adael Amador, who's now here at the show to stay. While I do like what Rick Howell presents, and he might be a really good pitcher in the future, while Rick Howell has a lot of really good attributes, a lot of good ratings for his attributes, and should be a good pitcher down the road, I think it's more important we draft a position we might need in the future. But while Lamar Hager is, as I mentioned, a position for future use, he has an incredibly high bonus demand of $9 million, something that we might not be able to pay for. After careful deliberation, I think I'm going to make my decision. With the 7th overall pick in the 2027 MLB draft, the Colorado Rockies will select Rick Howell. I think it just makes the most sense. His bonus demand isn't that high. He's an 18-year-old starting pitcher, and we could spend the next 3 to 4 years developing him in the minor leagues. Looks like the Red Sox took Felix Rivera. The Rays are up next, and they select Derek Strawberry. And the last pick in the top 10 is Babe McCann, selected by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cardinals and Padres took outfielders. Rangers and Reds took starting pitchers. With the Yankees up next, they took Richie. I was considering Richie, but I didn't do enough to scout him. The Reds might have reached heavily on Stuart Barrero. He seems to be very good, but he might just be 84 potential. In fact, the game might register it as such since his scouting progress was complete. Another outfielder taken by Cleveland. The Angels take the first catcher off the board. And another starting pitcher selected by Robert Barton. I think definitely in this draft it is the starting pitchers. And speaking of earlier, Lamar Hager was selected by Atlanta. I am curious to see what he'll look like when the potential ratings are revealed once teams are able to sign their players. Another pitcher has been taken. A lot of pitchers are being selected in this year's draft. And another pitcher again, Mariano Lozano, was selected. These are a lot of pitchers that I was scouting, so there's definitely some level of vindication for scouting nothing but pitchers this season. John Urbina, selected by Houston. Frank McGinnis, selected by Seattle. Kind of a reach if you look, but as long as he develops, he might just work out. Some position players are finally being taken off the board. Ibanez, Dominguez, Birch, and Walker all have been taken. And I really was looking to get Harvey Birch down the road, but Philly decided to reach on the guy for reasons. Now we're back to starting pitchers being selected with Chicago and Baltimore taking pitchers. Man, we're losing out on a lot of the pitchers I was scouting. But both Boston and us get a compensatory pitcher, so that's good. I think I'm going to continue. I'm going to risk it with Juan. Since we've already taken a starting pitcher, I don't think there's a reason to take another one just yet. But let me see first. Yeah, I mostly just scouted pitchers. I like his reaction and his speed and steal ratings. They could be really good, but he might be very average everywhere also. I doubt that 99 potential is something worthwhile. Aloy Bradley could be really good, but that's the thing. Really good could be. A lot of it is because of his fielding, his arm strength, accuracy, speed, and stealing. So I think he's very good defensively while having some flaws around his batting, his offense. Could use some work. Chris Gill, meanwhile, looks like he'll be a nice player, mostly through his contact and his speed. And I just don't think that this is really a good spot. I think a lot of these players might be good, but these are all reaches, insane reaches. I really am not trying to do that. I want to be smart with this selection. But that would mean probably just taking a pitcher again. Then who do I take? Do I take Johnny Abreu? Could be really good. But I'm not sure he's going to have a potential of 91. At least his ceiling isn't super low. A 75 is the lowest it'll go. Juan has a slightly lower ceiling than that. English looks like he might have a potential in the 80s, but that could easily be wrong. I mean, his pitch velocity is great out the gate, and it will maintain in 93 to 98 throughout his future. Okay, I think after careful deliberation and consideration about the possible options out there, I'm going to select Darrell English here in the second round. I think with his future ratings and the way they are all average out, he could be a really good player for us down the road. At least hopefully down the road. So welcome aboard, Darrell English. I was really debating where to select Jimmy Coffey, but that debate will now cease to rest. He's been selected by the Mariners here in the compensatory round. Definitely seems like this draft class is loaded through starting pitching. Another starting pitcher's been taken. Although Whitlock doesn't seem to be that good, so good luck with that, Miami. Toronto selects a closing pitcher in this round, so very interesting from them. Now we need to consider our potential options here. I'm thinking Adolfo Alfonso. It's a bit of a reach, but our scouts rank him higher than the rest of baseball, and he seems to have very good stats all around the board. Something that's weak for now, but could definitely be worked on as he is 18 years old. He'll have plenty of years in the minor leagues. He'll start out in Class A, probably get 1 year, 2 at most, maybe even in the second year, bounce him up and down between Class A and Double A. That would be a good option. Or we can go back to the pitchers well again, because there are some really good pitchers here, particularly Hans Kwan, which I will admit is a bit of a risk due to his doctor's exam. He is injured, but his bonus demand is far less than our first two selections, though you have that. There's of course Johnny Abreu, who I skipped out on in the compensatory round, and he is still here on the board. Rick Montano plays the same position as the other second baseman I just mentioned, but as you can see, doesn't seem to be very good on offense. Like a lot of his attributes come from he'll be a talented player, but a lot of his best skills are on the defensive end, which is not a necessity as long as they have okay fielding ratings. And even then, his future fielding rating, its ceiling looks to be around 80. So it doesn't bode too well for the guy. I think overall wise, I think Adolfo Alfonso makes the most sense here. Again, bit of a reach as MLB ranks him at 57, but we have him ranked 29th, so we are sort of striking a balance here at the 46th selection, especially since we aren't going to be able to select in the 50s anyways, so we might as well take a shot on this guy. We've already selected 2 pitchers. We'll need some positional players, and we'll make Adolfo Alfonso our first positional player selected in this year's draft class. Welcome to the team, Alfonso. I think definitely for the next compensatory pick, which will be the 74th selection, if Kwan is still there, I'm definitely taking him. The possibility of him being an elite pitcher within 3 years is definitely there with all these attributes. So fingers crossed. Alright, just about nearly halfway through the second round. Gotta hope that he stays on the board just a little longer. I'm really hoping that's the case. Baseball does not, all of MLB does not have him ranked on anywhere. So I'm really hoping we can luck out and snag him here. Now teams are starting to take pitchers again, so I'm getting really nervous. Chris Gill was selected by Kansas City. I was considering getting him at one point, but his potential is not in the 90s. It's either between 64th to 84th. So I decided it wouldn't be worth getting him. Mets might have gotten a really good outfielder, and a potential generational talent goes to Houston at third base. Come on, man, we're almost done the round. 2 picks left. If you include the picks in this round, it's about 8-ish, 9-ish. We're almost there. Please just let me get Hans, bro. Just let me get this guy. Okay, good. They took a relief pitcher in LA. We are right there. Please just let me get this guy. He's right here. 5 picks. We're right there. Almost at the finish line. Come on, man. Let's go! We're gonna get my guy, Hans Kwan. Let's go. He might be injured. I'm hoping his durability isn't terrible, but we'll take it. Let's go. I think I definitely scouted way too many second basemen. He's a 4-year senior, so he's got a very low ceiling. He's got good fielding, arm strength, great steal, solid speed rating, decent contact, okayish power. Not sure if he's the right guy, but at the end of the day, there's not too much else to really look at. I think taking Chad Valdez is a bit of a reach in my opinion, even if we won't be able to select 113. Well, actually, no, we do select 113. I think we'll just settle on another pitcher. We'll take William Lane. Sure, 21-year-old pitcher. But I mean, check out the potential. This dude will be great out the gate regardless, man. He'll be a great starting pitcher, and I'm glad we were able to pick him up. Maybe I could have waited an extra round, but I didn't want to take the risk, you know? You don't want to take the risk on certain gems like this guy. He's easily a gem. Round 3, 83rd overall selection, and you're taking a guy with the potential between 89 to 99. Yeah, I'd say that's a bit worth it, don't you think? So far, I'm pretty happy with how this draft is working out. Not many complaints. I got the real pitcher, the main pitcher I really wanted with here. I took a really solid starting pitcher with my first selection, and I was able to luck out and get another one here in the first compensatory round, while also going and selecting which should be a very solid second baseman for us in the future, in Adolfo Alfonso. So I think we're filling out the farm system really nicely with some really solid prospects. So I think we are doing a very good job filling out the farm system with very solid prospects. Can't complain right now. I think definitely with a lot of these teams taking relief pitchers, though, I can clearly see that they're trying to load up for next season and maybe even the year after as soon as possible. Even if some of them are 18-year-old relief pitchers, that's a smart move to consider. But with getting as many starting pitchers as I am, I can easily flip one starting pitcher for 2 relief pitchers and work my way from there. The next player I'm hoping to snag is here, Robert Yokoyama, 18-year-old second baseman. We've already selected a second baseman, but I think we can run something here. I mean, he can also play third base and shortstop, and maybe we can even develop him to learn how to play first base. His potential is definitely questionable, but I think it's just because we didn't get enough time to really scout the guy. That's probably why. There's also this guy, Chad Valdez. I mean, he might be really good. Power hitting first baseman that can play an outfield position. I mean, if he can learn left field, we could probably develop him to learn right field too. But that definitely needs to work. He needs to work on his fielding and his speed in order for us to really trust him that he can play other outfield positions. I don't think it's good practice to take another pitcher here. I think for now we'll be straight with the pitchers we already have. I think Alloy Bradley could be really good at shortstop. He was ranked 58th by our scouts, and MLB does not have him ranked at all. And if you look to his attributes to the right, his fielding, arm strength, arm accuracy, speed, and stealing will all be somewhere in the 90s if we're lucky. Of course, I did not scout him enough, so it might be farcical. It might be fabricated. I still really want to take Robert Yokoyama. Okay, I think I got it. I think we'll take the risk. We'll take Alloy Bradley here. And if Yokoyama will be available in the 4th round. So Alloy, welcome to the Rocky Mountains. We have so many more selections to go through before we can pick up the guy I really want. And I'm really praying that all these teams just neglect this potentially solid second baseman. He'll definitely be a project player due to his reaction, arm accuracy, arm strength, and fielding being really low. I would probably prefer if he played just first base. We could probably train him to learn first base. In fact, I'll probably add that to his secondary position repertoire. Alright, we're here. Got 5 more selections to have to stress my head about before we can get Yokoyama. And the Sox took a reliever because reasons. You know what? Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Just let me get my guy and it all will be alright. We're getting closer now. All good, boys. All good. We are all good. Got my guy. Honestly, we can probably just stim ahead. I don't really care. I'm okay with if there should be a chance that I should be able to select any of these guys. So I'm okay. Yeah, look at that. I got 4 options that I can pick from right here. We have this 18-year-old Andrew Hills that seems to throw absolute heat with solid pitch velocity. Or we can choose Brandon Simpson, who has great stamina. High home runs per 9, which means it'll be very difficult to hit the long ball on him. In fact, that might actually be a really good option for Coors Field. And he still has solid pitch velocity. Doesn't throw absolute heat down the plate. Alright, I've made my decision. For our final selection this draft, we will take Brandon Simpson out of Ohio. Pick number 173. A player not ranked by MLB, ranked 38th by our scouts, and his potential isn't that high, 85, which unironically is higher than Dennis Ecker, who was our first pick in this entire series. So, very interesting. But he has the added benefit of being 18 years old. He'll have plenty of time in the minors to really work and fine-tune and develop his craft. And that should do it for us. We are done here. go ahead and sim the rest of the draft. The draft is over. I am very happy with this. I'm very happy with this draft. Not only did we select, I feel like, the players of need and continue to add onto a rich pool of starting pitchers in our organization, but we also went for the concept of getting guys that were motivated to sign with us. The lowest I'm seeing so far is 51%. Our first round selection, 53%. Actually, here's the lowest, Daryl English. Even then, 49% ain't that bad. We can work with that. We can definitely gun for the guys with the highest motivation to sign with us. Get them to sign first, such as William Lane here, and work our way from there. We should be able to sign just about everyone here. Everyone has solid potentials. Nothing in the 70s in terms of a capper. Some have really low potential floors, big risk, but hey, no risk, no reward. Can't always play it safe. You always gotta take some risk. Speaking of safe, I'm definitely pleased with the fact we were able to land William Lane here. I mean, we ranked him 20th by our scouts ranked him 20th. And none of baseball had him ranked. And we got him with a third round selection. So pretty solid selection right here. We have a lot of guys with high ceilings. And in fact, I think most of the players we selected were actually 18. Lane is the oldest at 21. So you really put that into perspective. The average age of our draft picks this season will be around 18 and a half. Everyone here is around 18 years old, not named William Lane. And I am definitely curious to see some of the other guys that I was considering to select. I'm curious to see how they'll turn out. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy about this draft. And that is where we'll wrap things up from here.